But when it comes down to marriages and wedding, so little said about those things. But Jesus said to them, what God has joined together, let not man put asunder. Then they say, well, why did Moses then give us this writing, to give her a writing of divorcement put in her hand? And then Jesus said to them, because of the hardness of your heart, God suffered Moses to write this bill of divorcement. But from the beginning, God didn't expect or intend that to be. In other words, Jesus was saying, not because she messed up so bad, it's because you so messed up. If you don't have love and forgiveness in your heart, if you can't forgive, then God won't forgive you. God allowed them to divorce because of the hardness of the man's heart. That's why when this woman was brought to Jesus, they say she was caught in the very act of adultery. Well, where was the man she was committing adultery with? He should have been there too to be stoned to death. They didn't have no man. They only brought the woman. So that was curious right there. Where is the man she committed adultery with? He should have been a witness against her or accused along with her, but he wasn't there. So by rights, they shouldn't have brought her. If you claim there was two, both should be stoned to death. But they was just out to get her, trying to condemn Jesus, catch him in something. But it doesn't work like that. You ought to be fair and just in whatever you're doing. They weren't being fair. They weren't being just. But Jesus, he could have condemned her. Jesus certainly was without sin. If she committed adultery, Jesus could have stoned her to death even after they were all gone. But Jesus said, since there were no longer any accusers, he said, neither do I condemn you. He said, go and sin no more. I used to think if I married a woman, if she committed adultery, I had to divorce her. But the Lord let me know from that scripture, you can always forgive. Even sometimes things that seem too harsh or things like it shouldn't never happen, and it shouldn't. But you can forgive. David had sex with a man's wife. He knew that was the man's wife. He committed adultery. David and Bathsheba both should have been put to death for that alone. But then not only that, David took and had the man killed to try to cover it up. Then the Lord revealed through the prophet what he did. When David heard what the man did, he said, the man should surely die for what he's done. And that's where we get in so much trouble. The very thing we would choose and condemn another of, we want forgiveness for ourselves. That's why be careful what you judge. And what you judge out, it'd be measured back to you again. Don't judge. And that's what I'm saying when people talk about eternal security. Who are you to judge another man's servant, whether he stand or fall? How can you know whether somebody's saved or not? The only person truly knows whether you saved or not is you and the Lord. You know what's in your heart. If your heart ain't right, you know it. My daughter was telling me, my youngest daughter was telling me about a month or so ago, she said, you don't know me. Well, if you're not the child I raised, if you're not trying to serve God, no, I don't know you. You can let the devil in your heart, enter in your heart. You can become anybody you want to be. If you're a child of the devil, just like I said about Samuel, his sons had become sons of Belial. It say they knew not the Lord. They were Eli's son. He was the high priest. But the scriptures say his sons, who were also priests, they didn't even know the Lord. They were sons of Belial. They were wicked men. So if you're a wicked person, no, you can't know who they are. You don't know who they are. You don't know what they'll do. You know what? God doesn't even know what a wicked person gonna do. God say their hearts are so wicked, they'll do anything they can imagine. God don't look around and think about all the wicked, evil things possible, things we can do. He doesn't look upon that evil and all that sin. He will judge it and deal with it if he has to or will. But he don't. That's not who he is. It's not what he does. And I get it. When people do some wicked thing, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to think about it. Some of it's just nasty and filthy. God don't want to deal with our nasty filth. That's why he'll turn out his back on us when we go commit sin willfully. Don't do it. Don't put yourself in a place where you tempt the Lord your God. God not playing with us. He means for us to be clean, be holy, be sincere. Show the love of God in our heart toward other people. We need to learn how to do that. As I say all the time, to God be the glory, and glory be to God.